Good morning and welcome to Rapid TV's continuously evolving social, political, and general interest show we call Korero. Of course, you know how we do it. It's always a conversation on the show. I am your host, Nkamiang John the Beloved, also known as the Controversial. And today on the show, we will be discussing Nigeria's JAPA syndrome in the midst of evolving global immigration and migration policies. Of course, everybody's aware of the various changing policies. Even in Nigeria, policies are changing with regards to travel and, going in and coming out and all of that. Well, this scenario has led to an unending quest for immigration or migration, as the case may be, popularly called JAPA by youths and early adults due to the seemingly poor management of the Nigerian economy that has added to the decline in economic opportunities. Now, the JAPA syndrome, coined from the Yoruba word japa, basically means to flee permanently. So, as always, the show is live and interactive on all our social media platforms. And of course, as always, I implore you to be part of the conversation simply by following and liking Rapid TV on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, also known as IG, and we are on LinkedIn and TikTok. Remember, our handle is at official Rapid TV, at official Rapid TV. And of course, we do have our WhatsApp portal. The number to call is 0916 771 6035. 0916 771 6035. So you can send your contributions to the conversation via our WhatsApp portal if that is your preferred platform. Now, migration, the movement of people from one place to another, typically involving a change in residence or location, is on the rise globally. Now, global migration, however, is a complex and multifaceted trend influenced by various factors, including economic opportunities, family reunification, environmental factors, conflict, or the pursuit of a better quality of life. Now, studies have shown that it is a fundamental aspect of human history and continues to play a significant role in shaping societies and economies around the world. In recent years, Nigeria has witnessed this profound and evolving phenomenon. It has even carved a tag for it, JAPA, or the JAPA syndrome. Now, this term, which is today slowly becoming part of the nation's lexicon. I think at the end of 2024, it was one of those words that had been included in the English dictionary. JAPA. Trust Nigerians were contributing to the world in different ways. Well, it refers to the growing trend of young Nigerian professionals full of potential and ambition choosing to pursue careers and opportunities abroad. Now, while this outward migration might raise some concerns about brain drain, which has consistently been part of the conversation, a closer look indicates that the JAPA syndrome holds the potential for a myriad of long-term benefits for the country. So, in the midst of upgrades to immigration and migration policies by various countries, in the aftermath of the changes in U.S. foreign policy, the question is, how are the growing trends of young Nigerian professionals who choose to pursue their careers abroad navigating these new policies? Even in Nigeria, as I said, the policies too have changed. So joining me this morning to have this conversation is somebody that I have shared the stage with some time back, and it's great to have her share the stage with me again this morning. She wears many caps, but on this day, she's just a simple, humble travel consultant who is going to give us some clarity as it concerns some of the travel visa policies that we've seen some assaulting in the last couple of days and weeks, especially since the advent of Donald Trump. I think the conversation these days is that the fear of Donald Trump is the beginning of wisdom for the entire world. Well, Joy, this morning I have Stephanie Odia as my guest. Stephanie,
hi.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, as I said when I saw you today.
It's nice to have you join us this morning on the show.
Same here. I'm so excited to be here
Great.
Would want to share the stage with you again this morning.
Wow. Right, now let's start the conversation with Nigeria. Like they say, charity begins at home. Let's start with Nigeria's visa on arrival policy, which the Interior Minister clarifies by saying it's an upgrade to e-visa. Now, according to the Interior Minister, under the new system, travelers will still apply online for short stay visas with approvals granted within 24 to 48 hours. Now, in recent times, for the first time in the history of this country, you could go online and actually get your passports. A lot of things have changed. Electronically, Nigeria has joined, quote unquote, the League of Nations, where you don't need to travel all the way to the immigration headquarters here in Abuja just to get your international passport.
Right.
But with this new visa on arrival policy, what is the difference between this new system and what was obtainable before now?
Okay, so, you know, it's always been a case of applying for the visa on arrival as a foreigner wanting to come into Nigeria, and you're stuck because it takes days and even sometimes months before this is attended to online. But with the new policy, it ensures that everything is on the check. So first of all, you get to apply from the comfort of your home, and then you get a feedback after submitting and giving, you know, the key information that is needed on the portal. So the Minister of Interior is saying, look, it's not going to be business as usual in the past, where people complain severally, you know, saying, look, I applied for this thing, I never got approved, I never got a message if this even scaled through, and then it's just been one issue after the other. I'm not able to visit or, you know, come within the stipulated time. So although what has also been added to this is that, look, you're not just going to have anybody apply, because you just have to go through the very easy process where you're not scrutinized.
Yeah.
So I would say Donald Trump, emerging as America's 47th president, has actually, under immigration and travel policy globally, this has caused, you know, some kind of bandwagon effect in every other country. Everybody wants to know who is coming into their country. So the Nigerian immigration system has now said, look, we want to be able to profile our travelers. We want to know who you are, where you're coming from, what you do. You're going to have to do a bit of forensic, you know. So we want to be sure that we're not just having, in quote, aliens who are not, you know, necessarily, you know, jumping in and out of Nigeria, and then we don't even know what business you're coming for. So right now, we're going to have to check. You have to come here and make sure that we have every information that we need to have. If you're being invited for a business, we want to know who your partners are. We want to look into their background and make sure, look, whatever business you're coming here for is actually legit. So we're saying, you know what, this is up and running. First of all, you're applying in 48 hours, you get a response. Secondly, you're better profiled. So this is good for you, good for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, this is a country where we're still struggling with 5G. We have a lot of infrastructural deficit when it comes to, we talk about digital economy, but we have a lot of infrastructural deficit to actually enhance.
Yeah.
So it is one thing to have the policy. It's another thing for the policy to work. You are in the travels business. You get to meet people on a daily, both frequent travelers and people who probably are traveling for the first time. What are the experiences the kind of feedback you've gotten, especially since this policy came into place?
And it's also interesting, if I may add, that I do share, you know, relationship with very important persons also in the Nigerian immigration system. So being a travel consultant, I stand in between the government and this, you know, migrants or travelers and all of that. So we do take this feedback to them to say, look, there's a problem with the site. foreigners are complaining that they're not able to get this done in due time. People are complaining that the site is glitching. I also have experience because there are times when, because I consult for companies and then they have visitors coming into the country and we always have to go online to make these applications. And then we are stuck. The site is glitching. It's either malfunctioning or it's not giving the needed response. And so when we give the feedback to the immigration, they go, okay, we're sorry, we're working on this. Well, they will work on it, but in the past we've seen cases where it's gone on for like maybe 1 or 2 days and we're still struggling past a certain point until we have to now come to them and see how they can address it from here manually. So I
so
would
we
say,
still have that
yes,
manual
we still have
input
that. Yes, we do.
in the system.
Correct. And that's like a back check because cases where technology may malfunction, you always need to be able to find a way around it. So I would applaud them for, being able to handle the situation, but that's not sustainable because you can't get everybody coming to run to you for, manual input and all of that. So I do want to believe that before the minister would come out to make such, kind of announcement, it means they've gone back to do their homework, making sure that, look, this portal must never be down. As you're saying, this is no longer business as usual. You want to make sure that we don't face these challenges. And even when we do, there's going to be a smarter way out of it other than the manual input. So both parties, we, consulting and then the travelers coming into the country, more especially the immigration, system here, everyone has to be on the same page.
Was there some consultation,
Yeah.
Stakeholders meeting prior to the minister announcing this change? Because one would expect that, yes, the Donald Trump effect and all of that has awoken or reawoken interior ministries and foreign ministries of countries across the world. But there is the need, because no two countries are the same.
Right, I
no
agree.
two countries have the same foreign policy or immigration policy. So the need to engage stakeholders to say, okay, first of all, do we have a system? Is it functional? Can we update it? And if we're updating it, what kind of upgrades should we make to those policies? Did we have that kind of situation prior to the minister? Yeah,
yes, there was a brief. I found out, after the announcement on the media, channels, I would say TV and the rest of that, I found out from Nihotor, FAN and NANTA. So these are like 3 agencies where, being a travel consultant, you have to be a part of.
Yeah.
So because information will be shared across, all 3 agencies. So we found out, and then we had to circle back to say, look, let's sit down with this thing and then cross-check. NANTA is actually an association of, travel agents and all of that. Nehoto is for everyone who is into the travel business as well. So FAN is also a good one. They would always put out information, especially as regards people that are transiting through airports and all of these. They do well to say, look, there's been a change, on the VOA system for Nigeria. Everyone has to be informed. So yes, there was a brief, as a matter of fact. So, and then they did well to also push for the information to actually go around so everybody is kept abreast with what's going on. So that, I would give them a thumbs up. But I would still want to emphasize that, look, we need to make sure this thing really works, because we've been here before.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been here before. And this was how it started until we started to have this, experience where it wasn't so pleasant. Yeah.
Is this new development? Because, the best that will happen is that the minister will be there 8 years, and when he goes, what
comes after?
What happens after?
Yeah.
How are we sure that his successor will see develop things from his standpoint and probably take it to the next level, so to say?
So as the minister said, things are going to get easy, because when the information came out, people were worried. Right? My colleagues in the travel business were like, oh my God, is this making it easy or difficult? And so we went back, looked at it and said, you know what, this is actually making it easy, because he's saying 24 to 48 hours, right? So look, whoever comes next should just make sure it only gets better, because this is for the good of Nigeria. I'll take a quote from him that said, in the past, visitors who were coming in here for business have also had several cases of, not being able to have their visas. And then what happened? Business wasn't done, trips were cancelled, rescheduled, all of these other extra inconveniences.
Nigeria lost money.
Yes, you see, so this is very important to our economy as well, because guess what? We do know that the government is also at an advantage side when travelers come in and leave the country, not just to do businesses, but we have fun, and then you have all these careers and everything. It's a business on its own. Imagine not being able to serve that side of it. Like, you're losing money when people are not able to come in here. So why do we want to go down that part? So whoever is coming in after now should make sure this is further sustainable. Ensure that it gets easier, after on. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, how has it been so far for the travel and tours business like yours, with the recent changes in visa policies, travel policies across the world? Because I know you have businesses across all the world. You've got clientele across the world.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Actually.
So, but how has business been?
Well, it's been going good, I would say, first of all, but there's been a lot of disruptions, I would be very honest, because you wake up to changes here and there every day, and you also need to stay updated. And then this is a system, right? So things are not just push or plug and play. You need to go through a process. So waking up to meet all of these disruptions is actually something that, throws you off balance a bit, as well as, for everyone who's involved. So you need to now sit down and find a way to navigate this. First of all, Nigerians who are going abroad, it's no longer business as usual for whatever reason you're traveling for. If you're going for study, for example, in the UK, they had to increase the needed amount for proof of funds if you're traveling as a student, with your family, because they would file under you as dependents. If you're going to the US right now, it's almost like a no-go area. I
was going to ask that how what's the clientele like for the US right now?
Oh my!
Considering the new policy changes.
Oh my! It has dropped drastically because, unfortunately, Donald Trump, the current administration is not a friend to having an influx of migrants. You can see what's going on, on American soil. They're actually doing a lot of work to take out illegal migrants. So they somewhat, reduced how much they also want to accept people into the country. But he's saying, look, you can come here if you're coming here to study, if you're coming here to do business. You talked about, the gold card he just launched, which is like next to the green card. So he's all in for all of this, legal ways of migration. So, but something, let's be honest, okay? First point of call is getting the visa, and then the scrutiny that has to go on with the process. So yes, the country is saying you can come, but the consulate is not saying the same, because when you get there, it's not a case of you can go. You have to be scrutinized, to the point where you're even refused. And most Nigerians have gone online to just share their, their experiences, and it's not pleasant.
Not just Nigerians, because surprisingly, I've seen videos of Ghanaians, Ivorians.
West Africa as a whole.
Yeah.
So people are saying, look, you want us to come, but you're not giving us access to come. And we're legit. We're going here for school. We're going here for business. We're going here for every other reason that's necessary for your country. Matter of fact, you're gaining from us because we're paying monies, right? It's not free. So unfortunately, I think he needs to sit with the consulate and let them understand, look, I think this percentage, of adults, especially the young adults, because these are the people who are heavily invested in traveling. The aged ones are going for maybe vacation or something, but the young ones are going for school, they're going for investment, and then the rich, in quotes. We're yet to see how people react to his gold card thing. I think it's about 24 to 48 hours now, so let's see how people would react to that.
Well, talking about the gold card, it's a very interesting development, because just yesterday I happened to be a fan of the Tate brothers, and I understand they have left Ukraine for the United States. And if you know the Tate brothers, these guys are rich. These guys are, they just finished serving some prison term for some alleged crime. And it's obvious that Donald Trump seems to have something up his sleeve with the gold card thing, because he even said Russian oligarchs can get the gold card. For him, he sees it as an avenue to get people to invest. He said he is sure that at least over 100,000 gold cards would be purchased. And if you do the math, you know that how much will be coming into the American economy. So let's get to hear from Donald Trump. And when we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here with Steph.
We're going to be doing something else that's going to be very, very good. We're going to be selling a gold card. You have a green card. This is a gold card. We're going to be putting a price on that card of about $5 million, and that's going to give you green card privileges plus. It's going to be a route to citizenship. and wealthy people will be coming into our country by buying this card. They'll be wealthy, and they'll be successful, and they'll be spending a lot of money and paying a lot of taxes and employing a lot of people. And we think it's going to be extremely successful. Never been done before or anything like this, but it's something that we're going to be putting out over the next, would you say 2 weeks, Howard? Do you want to say a couple of words about it?
Sure.
Mr. President, are there
Wait a
any
minute.
requirements for that gold
Hang on a
card?
sec.
Do you have to invest a certain amount of money in this country in order to qualify for that gold card?
Yeah, exactly.
So
Go
the
ahead.
EB-5 program was really, you lend some money, but it was full of nonsense, make-believe, and fraud, and it was a way to get a green card that was low priced. So the president said, rather than having this sort of ridiculous EB-5 program, we're going to end the EB-5 program. We're going to replace it with the Trump Gold Card, which is really a green card gold. So they'll be able to pay $5 million to the U.S. government. They'll have to go through vetting, of course. We're going to make sure they're wonderful, world-class global citizens. They can come to America. The president can give them a green card, and they can invest in America, and we can use that money to reduce our deficit. Why do we give out lotteries of green cards? Why do we give out EB-5 for green cards? The President of the United States understands that the right answer is, why don't we eliminate the deficit of the United States of America instead?
The gold card, well, millions, but the gold card will bring in with it people that create jobs, very high-level people. I think companies will pay to get people in. For instance, you today graduate from the Wharton School of Finance or Harvard or Stanford or any college, and nobody knows if you can even go to work for a company. So Apple and all these companies that want to get people to be working for them will be able to buy a card, and for the people that are number one in their class at top schools, I see that as one of the things. But generally speaking, it'll be people with money and people that create jobs, and they won't have to pay any tax on income outside of the United States, which they're not paying right now. They're not citizens, but they'll have to pay if they create jobs in the United States. They'll pay full taxes like everybody else. So you're getting big taxpayers, big job producers, and we'll be able to sell maybe 1 million of these cards, maybe more than that. And if you add up the numbers, they're pretty good. As an example, 1 million cards would be worth $5 trillion. $5 trillion.
Wow.
And if you sell 10 million of the cards, that's a total of $50 trillion. Well, we have 35 trillion in debt. That'd be nice. So we'll see. But it could be great. Maybe it will be fantastic. We have it all worked out from the legal standpoint. It's totally legal to do. Hasn't been done before. It's been done in many different forms. We give them away. Why should we give them away? We shouldn't give them away. And I think it's something very exciting. I think it's potentially just something that we're all very excited about.
Right, U.S. President Donald Trump announcing plans on Tuesday to sell new gold residency permits for $5 million US. What would I do to get 5 million right now? It would be nice to have I would just place it on my, anywhere I go, I go gold card.
Really?
$5 million US each, a high-priced version of the traditional green card. Now, the initiative aims to attract job creators and wealthy individuals to the United States, potentially reducing the national deficit. So, don't be surprised if tomorrow you hear that President Tinubu has said Nigeria is giving out platinum cards for, Nigeria is the #1 destination in Africa. If you're just tuning in, this is Rapid TV's continuously evolving social, political, and general interest show, Korero. And the show is live and interactive, as always, on all our social media platforms. We are streaming live on our website, www.rapidtv.com. rbnradiotv.com. And of course, as always, do well to be part of our growing online community. As I like to say, even when the show goes off the air, the conversation continues online. Today on the show, we are discussing Nigeria's JAPA syndrome in the midst of evolving global migration and immigration policies. Discussing with me this morning is a travel consultant, and she's a woman of many parts. But today, she's bringing her expertise in travel consulting to the table, Stephanie Odia. Stephanie, thank you for your time so far on the show.
Welcome.
And back to the conversation. Now, about Donald Trump's gold card presidency, residency permit. Now, he stated that these gold cards would offer a path to U.S. citizenship, allowing applicants to work, create jobs, and build companies. Now, sales are set to begin in 2 weeks, with Trump claiming that up to 1 million cards, I said 100,000. He said
1 million will be sold.
Would be sold, and applicants would undergo careful vetting. He also hinted that Russian oligarchs could be eligible for the new cards, saying some might be able to afford the $5 million fee despite facing sanctions. So he seems to be willing to bend a little when it comes to Russians. You know. Now, the president's comments has sparked concerns in Europe, where he has been criticized for his overtures to Russia and his stance on lifting sanctions. Now, Trump suggests that the proceeds from the gold cards sales could help reduce the U.S. deficit, with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick re-echoing Trump's statement. I was saying he seems to be Donald Trump Jr. right now, speaking like the president. Now, the question is, how is your industry reacting to this development? I mean, because now you have to also deal with the super rich who want this $5 million gold card.
You know, there's been other alternatives. You know, before the emergence of the gold card, you had you had him say the EB1, you know, and then you also had the HB1 visa and the rest of that. So this is actually for who can afford it, right? So it doesn't cancel out the rest. And I'd say put your mouth where your money is, you know? So if you can't go for the gold card, there are other options. Now, for the super rich who would want to invest in America, there's a couple of people around the world from Nigeria who can afford this. And this is like an opportunity for you to take your business abroad. It doesn't come cheap. Taxes are going to be there. Like he said, you're going to have to go through vetting. Now, I'm just going to be careful to say this. You know, with Donald Trump, you don't know what to expect next. And the vetting in quotes, because we've seen cases where people complain, oh, yeah, you want us to come. But I don't see you carrying Africans along. You know, you don't believe that we have people here who could purchase this. So how do we even know if we're part of the program?
Or maybe it's a ploy.
Oh, yes. You know, to avoid, you know, having Africans being at the top list, you know, for those who would really want to afford or buy the card. So while we're also going to be careful with how we say that, because, yes, like I mentioned, we have Africans who have the monies. And it would be a good start to have African business going to America, operating on American soil, actually employing Americans, paying taxes and going by the books. That's a good one. So, but... well, everyone has been talking about it since this was announced, and we're like, some people say, look, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. But also, may I say, America's not the first to have this. We've had the likes of, you know, island countries like St. Kitts, which I currently consult for Bonnets. I'm also an agent to Bonnets. We also have, you know, Grenada. Dubai had something similar. Okay, look, at some point, we had Nigerian bourgeois go to Dubai, invest in real estate properties. These are not cheap. These are somewhat even more expensive than the $5 million gold card.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not joking. We had Nigerians, you know, go to Dubai, buy real estate properties, and then they're like, oh my God, this is good business. Why? Dubai taxes are low. We've seen Americans move to Dubai to live in Dubai. I also watched a clip of a young man who moved from the UK to Dubai with his family. He's into real estate and tech. And he says, look, this is the best place to live on earth. Why? Taxes are low. Right? Labor is also affordable.
So, how come the reverse is the case in Nigeria, because when immediately you say tax, my brain just went tax reform bill, and you constantly hear, oh, Nigerian tax is one of the lowest in the world, blah 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 blah. There's a need to increase tax, and then here you are, people are moving to Dubai because the taxes are low. Dubai has been able to create a conducive environment
for entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
You know, I was very excited when you said you think President Tinubu should jump on this. Nigeria is a beautiful place to come and invest. As a matter of fact, the current administration should be looking forward to attract foreign investors. Let's have a lot of FDI going on here. That's foreign direct investments. So look, whatever it is we can get from this, let's also have something going on here in Nigeria. We need to work on our tax reform bill, okay? National Assembly has to come up, they just have to agree about something. Whatever it is, let's get to work.
So it shouldn't be just about increasing taxes.
Right.
It should be more about making it the taxes attractive.
There you go. There you go. That is the punchline. So because everybody wants to go to a country where they're like, what's in for me? Like you said, how much am I going to pay for taxes if I'm investing in this country? And you look at it and like, you know what, this is good. We can just go on, you know, for years and not mind, and we keep, you know, paying our taxes and not jump any eventually. That would be good business for our country. We need a lot of foreign investments here. Let's jumpstart the economy of Nigeria. So Nigeria should take a cue from America, Dubai, you know, St. Kitts and Nevis, and all of these countries doing these things. So let's also be out there and say, sell Nigeria to the world. Look at what Rwanda is doing. Look at what, you know, the likes of other West African countries are doing. They want you to come and invest. So first of all, you need to make your taxes very, very affordable, you know, and attractive, you know. So whoever is coming to invest will be like, okay, this is not ripping us apart. Yes, we can deal. Most importantly, policies have to stay. We have a system in Nigeria where one government finishes. Oh my God. And honestly, you know, I've been privileged to be in rooms where some of these issues are discussed, you know, investors. And you hear them say, you know why we don't regard Nigeria or Africa and we make them take the back seat? Because you don't have a country where your policies are fixed for a long term to do business. I'll give you an example quickly. So I went to an Apple store. I was looking out to buy, you know, an Apple phone to just upgrade my phone. And then I discussed with the guy. I said, is this an Apple store or you're just a dealer, you know, coming under the name of Apple? He said, no, this is an Apple store. This is like the only Apple store in the whole of Nigeria. First of all, I'm drawn aback because every Nigerian uses an iPhone. And I ask myself, this is good business for Apple. Why aren't they here? And he says, look, unfortunately, our economic policies are not favorable. These people don't think this soil is a good place to come and do long-term business. Doesn't matter how Nigerians use your phones. But then you go to Rwanda, they're there. You go to South Africa, they're there. And you're asking yourself, what is the difference? Now, you see,
policies.
Exactly, policies, taxes. So all of you, so Donald Trump is actually swinging in his best shot. So let's see how that goes for America.
All right, now, Nigerians, especially Nigerian students, make up the highest number of legal immigrants, both in the U.S.
Correct.
and the U.K. Just as the U.S., the U.K. has followed suit. They have unveiled new rules impacting illegal immigrants and asylum seekers, with a policy update that will deny British citizens or citizenship rather, to anyone who enters the country without authorization.
Correct.
Now, I know a number of Nigerians who have dual citizenship, and most of them have British passports. What does this mean for Nigerian immigrants in the UK, especially students?
Honestly, I'd say add Canada to that list.
Yes, I was also going to come
you
to
know,
Canada.
it's all three countries. You see, it's important to be fair and transparent. I read a report that landed on my desk, says 50,000, okay, of very, very young Nigerians, 50,000, in quote, Nigerians mixed with Indians were apprehended in Canada. So how did they do that? It was a case of no-show. So they register, get the admission from the schools, don't end up turning up for lectures. They get the visas and they zoom off. all right? No one knows their whereabouts. They just go, in quote, JAPA, like you say. Now, what this means for, Nigerians in UK, unfortunately, you have to do things the right way. If I'm coming here to study, and I'm saying, look, I'm coming here to study for the next 3 or 5 years, that's that. After studies, yes, I can extend my stay if I get a job offer, and if that company is willing to sponsor my stay. Otherwise, I have to come back home and reapply again. But that's not the case with many Nigerians. To be very candid, do you want to tell me someone who spent well over 10 to 15 million naira going abroad, and you want them to come back? They don't see it as something that makes sense. So unfortunately, they're just going to jump. They'll jump the books and just, go missing or something. And you see, years later, this would actually pay off the wrong way, because these guys keep records. They have a working system. Let's all not forget that. And then you've been here for years, and then you're trying to grow through the, ranks in society, and you're like, wait a second. Unfortunately, let me just say this here. This was like last week. I read a news post that talks about this Simon Gubadia, the very popular Nigerian guy who married, a Hollywood reality TV star. And he was apprehended by ICE. What happened? He's been there since the 80s, and this is the case, right? You went there on whatever reasons, and then you've been in the country, you were apprehended for overstay, deported back to your country, went back again, you overstayed, came back again. So it's been back and forth, and you see,
so
years later,
he's seen to be what they refer to as a serial offender.
Here you go. Years later, Gubadia is paying for it now. This is over how many years, since the 80s till today? Who knew there was going to be a Donald Trump emergence as president, and then he's going to crack down on illegal immigration? So here we go. So these guys, my advice would be, look, do things the right way. Don't hurt yourself from the start, okay? You stay in the UK and you find out, look, I've overstayed. I think I have to go back to my country and come back another way. Please do so, because you don't know where you're going to be in the next couple of years. And you're going to have to dent your record. And you're actually spoiling things more for Nigerians. And not just Nigerians. I hear there are Indians who are also listed as offenders. Yeah. So you're actually ruining things for people from your country, because you're going to be counted for as the largest group of offenders, and you have the young ones, from the millennials to the Gen Zs in that category. So this is not good for everyone. So I think we should focus more on doing things the right way. Come back home if you must, and then go and apply again. After all, I mean, JAPA is good investment, but until it's done the right way. Otherwise, save up some money. Maybe you can go to the US and get a gold card.
must I go to the US? Must I go to the UK? Because now you have several classes of Nigerians wanting to leave for different reasons. You've got the class of young Nigerians who want to go and experience the best of academic pursuits.
Correct.
Outside. And then you have the class of Nigerians who say, look, I'm done with this country. Nothing works.
I just want to go anywhere.
I just want to go anywhere. Start over. So the question is, for those classes of Nigerians who have sold everything, they've gathered the money, say anywhere.
Let's go.
I know you meet this kind of people almost
daily,
on a regular.
Daily, I meet them daily.
How do you counsel them? How do you help them?
Yeah, so here's what I tell them. You mustn't go to the UK, US, or Canada. You can go to South Korea. You can go to Japan. Asia is open to Nigerians. Yes, for those who do not know, I'm saying it here.
I agree.
Asia is open to Nigerians. You can go to the Middle East, right? So you see, the problem is they tell you, no, we want to go somewhere where we feel like we're properly integrated, and we feel like there's all this human rights going on, because you're intending to violate the laws. That's why you're looking for where you're going to be, pampered, because the West has that effect. Yes, you're an offender, but then they're going to go about it a nice way. But if you really know what you're doing and you want to migrate, you go to Asia. There are fantastic opportunities there. Look, Vietnam is on the rise. I read the news yesterday, Vietnam has been receiving, influx of, tourists who are coming for business purpose. Why don't you go to Vietnam? Look for opportunities in Vietnam. If you don't want to study, then you can study to go to Vietnam. I had a friend, who's Nigerian. He actually, did have a master's in English. And then guess what? He's teaching in Turkey. The man is doing well. right? So you can go to the Middle East, you can go to Asia, you can go to even
What
India.
about Scandinavian countries?
Oh yes, there are beautiful opportunities there. You go to New Zealand, they're looking for skilled workers. You go to Sweden, they're also looking for skilled workers, those in the tech field, those in medicine. You know, I mean, these are all the beautiful opportunities. But people just want, you know, something about, you know, people making this collective decision in the travel space. They feel like, oh, because I have an uncle, auntie, sister, brother who is here, I just want to go there. I understand you need, you know, you need family. You want to go to a place where you feel you can easily meet someone whom you know. But look, if you've taken the first step, which is bravery, to say, I want to leave my homeland and go somewhere else, I think it's also good for you to like do your homework, do the research. And when you come to me and then I advise you, what are you interested in? There are various countries where opportunities are available, even if it's not exactly what you want. I talked about Asia. I talked about the Middle East. You just mentioned Scandinavian countries. These are all, you know, these are all beautiful countries with fantastic opportunities. So I think Nigerians should begin to look elsewhere. Because guess what? Canada is packed. Trudeau is in trouble.
Yeah.
He's about leaving. You know, there's a whole lot going on in Canada. I don't think it's one of the choicest destinations to go to, you know, right
moment.
now. US, you know, Donald Trump is not the very friendly guy, you know, and the UK is getting filled. They're tired. They're saying, you know what? Look, we're going to be as nice as we can because the English people are always polite, but it's going to come to a close any moment now. So look elsewhere.
And then there would be that ripple effect because
Definitely
the next thing you
always
see Germany.
is. Now they already started. They already started because the moment you have, you know, these big guys make this decision. For example, Trump is cracking down on illegal immigration. Guess what? I saw in news yesterday, Nigerians started going after other Africans who have been staying in this country for years and are not documented. I did see, you know, they arrested over 30 persons. That just started. So everybody's beginning to do like checks. Like, okay, if America is saying we don't want you, be careful, close your borders, we don't want them trooping here, you know. So that's going to have a spiral effect globally. So I'm going to say to anyone who really wants to travel now, sit down, do your homework. Let's look out for opportunities elsewhere for you, but you must go the right way.
Is this the best time to travel?
In my opinion, I'd say not really.
The
world is really
I saw you take
shaking
that
up.
sigh. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay.
Not really. I would say not really because I've been asked this question a lot. There's a whole lot going on. That was what you said at the start of the show. I agree with you a lot because right now people are beginning to fact check. They're beginning to sit down to ask themselves questions. And I don't think it's best for anyone to be caught in this, you know, crossfire of disruptions here and there. It's not pleasant. So I think we should let the man settle in. Maybe after you know Donald Trump's first 5 months or 6 months or first 100 days, you know, he might say, okay, I'm done with immigration. Let's look out for other challenges. Then it's the good time because you know what, everyone else is resting. So right now it's all hot. You know, we're all in this boiling pot together. So I think people should just take a chill pill. Wait until things are much more clearer before you make that move.
Beyond the e-visa on the part of Nigeria, from your standpoint as a travel consultant, what are the lessons Nigeria should learn from all of this? Because we are the America of Africa.
I agree.
You know, largest population, largest country on the continent. Everybody looks to Nigeria. The only other African country that has been able to rub shoulders with us is South Africa. Right. And we know that South Africa has certain advantages that Nigeria somewhat hasn't had, especially when it comes to the system of government, leadership, and all of that. But at least in recent times, Nigeria and South Africa seem to be agreeing. And of course, Nigeria has joined the BRICS. So that also puts both countries at par.
I agree.
But if you had the opportunity to sit with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Minister of Interior, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, what would be your conversation with them? What are the things that you would point out as take-homes from all of this that's going on, from America to the UK to other parts of the world, that Nigeria can take advantage of and begin to improve Nigeria's foreign policy?
You know, I love that question because I do hope that this gets to them eventually. You know, we have the potential as a country to attract foreign investment, tourists, because Nigeria is, first of all, a very big and beautiful country with very notable, tourist attractions all across 36 states. There are some we've not even discovered. There are some we've been selling: the Yankari Game Reserves, River Tube, Obudu Cattle Ranch, Zuma Resorts, etc., etc. But before we get there, before we start looking to attract people, we must work on our system. Words have it, and I have confirmed it, that getting the Nigeria sticker visa from abroad if you're coming into the country is quite a very difficult and rigorous process, and that is done deliberately because I do hear that I don't know if the immigration system is still going by this law of reciprocity, especially as regards visa fees. Now, the visa on arrival thing, this is how it works. So if we're charged XYZ, we also charge that country's nationals, similar or equivalent amounts, because we operate with the law of reciprocity. So before we begin to attract travelers from across the world, we need to ensure that we have it on a locked end. What do I mean? First of all, who is applying for a visa? What are the categories available? How are we going to ensure that these individuals are properly vetted? We don't want criminals coming in and out of the country because we're looking for people's money. We want to make sure who is coming here is coming to contribute meaningfully to Nigeria. So we want to ensure that these guys are properly scrutinized, because here's the thing. I was talking to my mom quickly, backstory. I had a friend of mine who holds a dual passport. Guess what? He was on this queue and he was pulled out. Why? You have a dual passport. You're Nigerian. You go into a country 4 or 5 days, you're out. You're labeled as a fraudster or a drug trafficker. And the man said, you talk to me anyhow, destroy my baggage, I'm going to sue you. Guess what? They were drawn aback. Oh, first of all, he doesn't sound like that. He sounds educated. They did a research on him and found out he was an ICT guy. Why have you labeled Nigerians as something negative? So we need to tell the world, this is not the truth. This is who we are. We're good people. This is a great nation. You can come here, but before you come into our country, you need to follow through the procedures that you ought to go to. So first of all, fix our system. Ensure that visas can be gotten, but yes, stringent process have to be followed through. Secondly, we need to invest in tourism in this country. We are not making money from the tourism sector in Nigeria.
Yeah, I noticed, just like sports, we seem to pay lip service to tourism.
We need to do the work, right? Countries like Tanzania, they make a lot of revenue. Mauritius, call them. I mean, even Ghana. The president just recently said, you know what, we're throwing open our borders. Let's see how much we can rake from the tourism business, because that's the more reason why people go to Ghana. You go to the Cape Coast to see, all of those very beautiful historic sites and the rest. What do we have in our country? So much more to offer. And how are we going to go about these things? We need to be deliberate. The Minister for Tourism has to really sound this and say, look, we can generate a lot from this. So first of all, put your house together, invest in tourism, and ensure that everybody coming has to go through due process. We don't want, Nigeria, has been known for one thing. Unfortunately, people tell you, just show them the bills and they say, all right, come through. We need to ensure that our guys at the border, because this is what every American consulate is taught, American consular rather. Before you give anyone access to your country, first of all, you're paying service to your country. And you're ensuring that you've scrutinized this individual coming in. You're standing right there as an ambassador of your country, and you're vetting and saying, look, if I allow you into my country, I'm giving you access, trusting that, whatever you say you are is what you say you are. So we also need to have an orientation for our immigration officers who are at the forefront. I see them doing so well. Last I took an international trip, I came back and I was so impressed. I want to really accord the Nigerian immigration system. They're working so hard to ensure that the officers are trained and they follow disciplinary measures, as against always asking for tips and the rest of that. So, but we need to do a lot more. We need to make sure that these guys are really manning the front well, because whoever you are allowing through those borders would come in here for good or for otherwise.
Or for bad.
Yeah.
All right. To wrap up this edition of Rapid TV's continuously evolving social, political, and general interest show, Korero, let us look at some of the things to know about the Trump gold card. I mean, that's the hottest thing right now, especially when it has to do with the part of citizenship. Now, this program would replace, so to say, the existing EB-5 visa and provide a direct route to American citizenship. One, Trump's proposed gold card residency permit is designed for wealthy foreigners seeking U.S. permanent residence and a pathway to citizenship. Now, unlike traditional green cards, this premium visa would offer additional privileges and a more streamlined citizenship process. So, if you're a Nigerian and you want the gold card, just don't sell your entire village to get it. 5 million US dollars. Now, why is Trump replacing the EB-5 visa? Now, the EB-5 visa program, established in 1990, has long provided green cards to foreign investors who contribute at least $1 million to a business that creates a minimum of 10 jobs. However, Trump's Commerce Secretary, that I like to refer to as Junior Trump, Howard Lutnick, criticized it for being rife with nonsense and fraud, in his words. I'm quoting him directly. Now, who qualifies for the gold card visa? Now, according to Trump, applicants will need significant financial resources, but no specific job creation requirements have been outlined. Trump assured that all applicants would undergo strict vetting to ensure they are wonderful, world-class global citizens, in the words of Donald Trump. Now, unlike the EB-5 program, which was capped at 10,000 visas annually, Trump has suggested that there may be no limit on the number of gold cards issued, even proposing selling 10 million visas to reduce the national deficit. Now, cost and benefits of the gold card visa. The price tag for the elite visa is 5 million US dollars per applicant. While specific details are expected in the coming weeks, the program aims to provide an easier and possible faster route to citizenship compared to traditional green cards, which typically require 5 years of permanent residency before eligibility for naturalization in the US. However, the question again is, how does this compare to other countries? Now, many countries offer similar investment-based residency or citizenship program, as my guest highlighted, commonly known as Golden Visa. Now, in the European Union, nations such as Spain, Greece, and the United Kingdom have implemented such incentives, while countries like Malta, Egypt, and Jordan even provide direct citizenship through investment. The Caribbean nations, including the Dominican Republic, Grenada, and St. Kitts, like my guest mentioned, and offer golden passports for as little as, guess how much? 200 to about 300,000 US dollars. So if you can't do 5 million, you can do 300,000, right? However, concerns about money laundering and rising real estate prices have led several European countries, including the United Kingdom, to roll back on tightening regulations on their golden visa programs. Trump's proposed visa plan is expected to face scrutiny, particularly regarding its potential economic impact and the legal feasibility of implementing it without congressional approval. That's why right now Trump seems to be turning out to be the biggest dictator in the most democratic country of the world, the free world, as they like to call themselves. But Trump insists that it's unnecessary. Typical Trump. Well, let's quickly look at the impact on asylum seekers and legal challenges. The new rule has sparked, especially with the changes in UK immigration and migration policies. It has sparked criticism over its potential conflict with the 1951 United Nations Refugee Convention, which protects asylum seekers from penalties for illegal entry. Now, legal experts and human rights organizations argue that the policy undermines the United Kingdom's international obligations. Several legal challenges have already been filed, contending that the rule disproportionately affects individuals who sought refuge under difficult circumstances. Now, some who previously had legal status now face uncertainty regarding their citizenship prospects. Now, as legal challenges unfold, the future of UK immigration policy remains uncertain, and potential applicants are advised to stay informed about further developments. And that sums it up for today's edition of the show. At this point, I want to say a big thank you to Stephanie for
Thank
making,
you
I mean,
too.
you've given us a whole lot of insight. For travelers, I mean, this definitely was a must watch.
Oh, yes.
A must watch.
Very informative.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And of course, special thank you to you, as always, for allowing us be a part of your morning and your day. And trust us, as always, to keep our promise of keeping our ears to the ground and our searchlight being on developments as they evolve. I am Nkamian John, the beloved, also known as the controversial, signing out.